Welcome to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Berg. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll tell you how you can help some of the 66 dogs seized from a Rockville area home. And later, we'll show you some of the original research projects these seniors at Northwest High School showcased at the annual Ulysses Fair. Plus, the Raptors take on one of their big rivals on the basketball court. But first, built in the 1960s by Kettler Brothers, Montgomery Village was one of the first planned communities of its size in the United States. It was planned with a range of housing types, from single-family homes to apartments that were designed to attract residents from all walks of life. The County Council is currently reviewing the latest update to the Montgomery Village Master Plan, and as Susan Kennedy tells us, officials say this new plan preserves the vision of the community while encouraging reinvestment.
What's at stake is whether hundreds of homes will be built at the site of the former golf course. The 147-acre property was purchased by Monument Realty in 2012, but the golf course was closed in 2014. Plans call for 600 homes on the site, a mix of single-family, townhomes, duplexes, and an apartment complex around green space.
There is an issue of communities' expectations that I'm sensitive to and that will take up the discussion, knowing that that was people's understanding when they purchased their homes.
The business model of linking golf courses and real estate is suffering nationwide, making the situation in Montgomery Village not unusual. However, officials say they will take steps to make sure the transition in Montgomery Village will benefit the residents there.
The real issue is what's the best solution for Montgomery Village, taking that into account. And I think we've come up with a pretty good series of recommendations that really adds to parkland and open space that's available to the public in Montgomery Village.
I think this plan represents an opportunity to revitalize Montgomery Village.
The task now is to try to make sure that as much of the land as possible is maintained in a condition that it can be used by the public. So we'll allow some limited amount of redevelopment, but much of the land will continue to be accessible to the public. In fact, a lot of it will be under the control of the Parks Department, which in some ways is better than if it were managed as a private golf course for members only.
Also at issue in the plan, how to redevelop existing commercial property in Montgomery Village. The master plan recommends the Village Center be redeveloped into a mixed-use town center with housing, retail, offices, and open space.
This is one that's unanimous consensus wants to see this Village Center redevelop. And so once people start to see the catalyst of new investment in Montgomery Village, it really speaks well to making sure that we continue to push a lot of the opportunities that will be there.
The committee was able to work through most of the plan at this week's work session. It will come before the council for a vote within the next few weeks. In Rockville, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
Open enrollment to purchase a qualified health plan or to obtain Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act is coming to a close on January 31st. And caseworkers from the county's Department of Health and Human Services have been extra busy assisting residents with the application process. Lorna Virgili joins us now from one of the clinics.
Sonia, we are at the Picard Drive Clinic in Rockville, and just to give you an idea, this location alone is seeing an average of 150 people on a daily basis. The main lobby packed. Residents are flocking county clinics to get help and navigated the state's official health insurance marketplace. The deadline countdown has begun for the open enrollment, and thousands are trying to buy or change health insurance plans.
They come in, number one, to make sure that they're putting the right information in the system. Secondly, it's the first time they've ever used the system, so they have to create an account. After they create the account, they have to enter their household information to include tax information, income information, immigration, and citizenship. And I think the fact that that's new to people is making them come in. And I'm happy that they are coming in the first time. We have 3 navigators here to assist them with the qualified health plans, and we have 10 caseworkers at this location to assist them with Medicaid.
Since open enrollment started, over 34,000 private plans have been purchased and 169,000 new and renewed Medicaid enrollments have taken place. 4 county clinics are offering the free in-person assistance. In addition to the Picard Drive Clinic, the Fenton Street and the Georgia Avenue clinics in Silver Spring and the regional office in Middlebrook Road in Germantown are open 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., taking walk-ins. Now, make sure to come prepared with all documents in order.
We need to have their tax information, how they filed their tax returns, not only last year, but the year coming. We need their employment information. They really should come in with their pay stubs or their taxes if they're self-employed. We need their immigration, whether that's a work authorization card or whether that's the permanent resident card. We need them to come in with the naturalization certificate. All this information is entered in the Maryland Health Connection, and it goes out to the federal hub to check it. But if the federal hub for some reason cannot check it, we need to have those documents here so that we can assist them.
Most people are required by law to have health insurance or pay a penalty in their taxes. This year, the fee for not having health insurance is $695 per person per household, or 2.5% of your household income, whichever is greater. To register on your own, visit marylandhealthconnection.gov. For in-person assistance, just walk into one of the county locations. In Rockville, for County Report This Week, I'm Lorna Virgili.
Safe Silver Spring recently hosted its annual legislative forum, and MyMC Media's Willie James Inman has a recap of what was discussed at that briefing.
Some of our focus was on gun safety legislation, but we also talked about sexual trafficking, body cameras, deportation, immigration issues, and a variety of other criminal justice issues.
Safe Silver Spring hosted its annual legislative forum, which gives citizens a chance to learn and weigh in on upcoming public safety legislation.
There are several bills that were talked about tonight that certainly are worth considering. One is the no-fly list, domestic violence bills that tied to guns. Clearly, those were the ones that got quite a bit of attention.
Gun safety was a top concern at this year's meeting.
Some of the major issues around gun safety is really making sure that the persons who are legally, who will have the right to have those weapons and should have those weapons, have them, and not the individuals who don't have them.
People convicted of an act of domestic violence are prohibited from possessing a gun, and this legislation would just make it clear the transfer of that weapon, make that clearly done. We would know that transfer took place.
We want to pass legislation which failed at the federal level, but we can make happen in Maryland, to say that gun dealers may not sell firearms to people who are on the federal terror watch list. And believe it or not, there is no law in America that prevents known terrorists or suspected terrorists from purchasing firearms.
But opponents worry about restrictions.
There's no due process to end up on the list. Every other prohibitor to prevent somebody from owning a firearm goes through judicial review, and there's proper due process. The other issue is that the Department of Homeland Security has never shared that list with anybody outside of the TSA.
Reporting in Silver Spring, I'm Willie James Inman for County Report This Week.
This week, Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett and the 9-member County Council released a joint statement in hopes of easing fears of some immigrants in our communities about deportation threats. In the statement, the elected leaders encourage those in our community who are concerned about deportation threats to go about their daily activities free of fear. They also said that county police will play no role in enforcing federal immigration law. According to County Executive Ike Leggett, it's important that these residents know they are welcome here.
I think putting out a statement has two effects. One, we're joining the chorus of people around the country who are saying we should not do this. Then secondly, it is saying to our own community what we expect out of our police, what people should do and not do. We have people who are not now going to school because they're fearful. We're saying to them, you don't need to fear Montgomery County Police. We're not going to engage in picking you up and performing the federal government's role in terms of immigration issues and so forth.
You can find the county leader's entire statement about deportation threats on the county's website. Coming up on County Report This Week, we'll tell you about the future plans of a local nonprofit that trains service dogs for vets. And some of the 66 dogs seized earlier this year from a Rockville area home are now up for adoption at the animal shelter. We'll have these reports and more right after this.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Welcome back to County Report This Week. I'm Sonia Burke. The Warrior Canine Connection is a local nonprofit that trains service dogs for vets. And this organization recently received an important donation that will be used at its new property in Boyd's.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you do for veterans, and we look forward to a continued partnership.
The Warrior Canine Connection is developing a new site at Seneca Creek State Park in Boyd's. And now the nonprofit organization has this brand new all-terrain vehicle to access the property.
We had an ATV that was stolen several months ago that was being used in the renovation of the property here, and that was a big hit for us.
When we heard about the theft of the previous ATV, we were really just heartbroken knowing how hard they worked in order to help veterans and then help veterans help themselves and help other veterans as well. And so we wanted to make sure that we were able to continue and honor that tradition, and really were honored to be able to help in providing them a new ATV.
This donation comes at an important time as the Warrior Canine Connection is moving its headquarters from Brookville to Boyd's. Right now, construction is underway on the caretaker's farmhouse, which is phase 1. That work should be complete this summer. Future phases include construction of a puppy enrichment center, a service dog training center, offices and quarters for veterans receiving service dogs, and a barn for art therapy.
I think it's amazing. I can't wait to see where it goes. We've already made a lot of improvements, and we're definitely on the path to making it an epicenter of healing.
Not only that they're training service dogs for other veterans, but that they're allowing the veterans themselves and the service members to train the dogs as part of their own therapy.
And what we're doing here at this site, it really represents an amazing collaboration of folks really pulling together for a common goal to help serve those who have served us.
You can find out more about the Warrior Canine Connection by visiting its website. And while you are online, be sure and check out the popular Puppy Cam. Some of the 66 dogs seized earlier this month from a Rockville area home are now up for adoption at the animal shelter in Durwood.
I can tell you that from our perspective, these animals are in a much better position than they were in the home we took them out of.
The director of the Animal Services Division is talking about the case of 66 dogs that were seized from a Rockville area home on New Year's Day. Several of those dogs are now up for adoption at the county's animal shelter in Durwood.
Really good news, which is that the owner surrendered ownership of the dogs to us. So that means that we are now able to move forward with adopting out the animals, which we have already actually adopted out a couple of them.
After some grooming, these small dogs were some of the first put up for adoption, along with Teddy and Kenya.
We have one, Teddy, who is adorable. He's a terrier mix. When he came in, he did have, you'll see his before picture on his cage card. It says confiscated pet. That's what you'll see on their cards. In his before picture, you'll see that he had a good amount of hair, and when you look at him now, he looks quite the different dog. He had one of our volunteer groomers come in and give him a nice haircut. So he looks rather different. You'll see Kenya, who is an older female terrier mix, and she is just as sweet as can be.
Gunther is among one of the 66 dogs looking for a permanent home, and there's more to come. The impact of taking care of all these dogs has been great on the shelter staff, and they're thankful for their volunteers and the community's support.
I think people have really come forward in a way that has been really shown the support for the shelter, and we've had rescues that have come forward. We have had other shelters that have come forward to offer their help, and that has been really That's been wonderful for us to see that, and it's really it's been nice to see that, especially in a time where it can be really stressful and overwhelming for the staff. So to have that from the community has been nice.
The McPaul organization is hoping to raise $5,000 to help offset the medical care for another 20 of the confiscated dogs. You can find out more information about how you can help at mcpaul.org. Save the date. The 2016 Women's Legislative Briefing takes place on January 31st at the universities at Shady Grove, and registration is now underway. Joining us to talk about this important event is Lorna Ford from Montgomery County's Commission for Women. Thanks for being here, and what can you tell us about this year's event?
Oh, we're just excited. Our theme this year is pioneering justice for women and girls through legislation, education, advocacy, and policy. This year we're going to have a different format for our briefing, which we think will be exciting. Instead of having a keynote speaker, we've invited the congressional delegation to come and speak about legislative issues that impact women and girls. And then we have 2 new seminars. We have one that addresses emerging populations and our women veterans and our women in our prison system. And then we have a seminar on women in leadership, and we've invited women who are pioneers in their field. We have so many things that will be of interest to you that you'll leave empowered and engaged and enlightened. Go to our website to get more information, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you. That sounds like a fabulous event. County Executive Ike Leggett personally congratulated the government employees that raked in 30 National Association of Counties awards. The ceremony was held at the Executive Office Building, and 15 departments were recognized for implementing innovative projects, programs, and initiatives that assisted county residents in 2015.
When you look at the number of awards cumulatively over the years, this is exceptional. I get an opportunity to brag and to boast about the great accomplishments of Montgomery County, and far too often the elected officials and those at the top level get all the credit, but we know and understand fully that it is the people who are in the trenches, the leadership that we have throughout all segments of county government.
The Office of the County Executive submits nominations for the prestigious award each year, and after NACO announces the winners, Executive Leggett recognizes each award-winning program. Coming up on County Report this week, the seniors at Northwest High School share their research at the Ulysses Fair in Germantown. And the Raptors recently took on one of their big rivals on the basketball court. We'll tell you how they did right after this.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going. Recycle more now.
Looking for a way to get around downtown Silver Spring? Hop on the Route 28 Van Go Free Circulator. The Route 28 Van Go Free Circulator provides rides Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to midnight and Friday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. Fast, convenient, and free. There's no better way to get around downtown. To find out more information about the Route 28 Van Go Free Circulator, including route information, visit us online or dial 311.
Welcome back to County Report this week. I'm Sonia Burke. This month, seniors at Northwest High School showcased their original research projects at this year's Ulysses Fair. MCPS TV has our story.
Did your research find that it was pretty true? Yeah.
On January 7th and 8th, seniors at Northwest High School showcased original research projects during this year's Ulysses Fair.
The Myers-Briggs Foundation offers a personality test.
Unique to Northwest High, the Ulysses Signature Program is a 4-year honors program that emphasizes research skills and the opportunity to focus on strong academic and personal interests.
Students naturally get more excited when they can share their own interests and passions with other people.
So that's what the ocean looks like in a lot of places.
They learn that the work that they do is really important, and it's not just important to them, that it's also important to their community, and that there's so much that they can do with their own interests and ideas and skills and talents.
To see if the same thing is being applied there. My project is on Islamophobia, which is the fear and prejudice of Muslims, and I analyzed how the media reported on attacks that dealt with proclaimed Muslims and how that influenced how people perceive them.
It's really not stable because it's only got 500 people living in the town.
So I did the economic stability of ski towns, and I was really inspired to do this project because I love skiing, I'm passionate about skiing, and I want to major in economics in college, so I kind of combined those interests. I definitely wanted to study something that hadn't really been done before.
After listening to music, she remembered how to walk.
Through playing the piano, I've been able to volunteer at different senior assisted living centers and specifically saw Alzheimer's residents. When I researched, I saw how music was able to open channels in the brain that were previously closed and deliver oxygen to those regions. So I wanted to know if music was able to help them revive their memories.
Teachers describe the Ulysses program as a rigorous course of study that prepares students for success in college and careers.
They're going to take away so much from this experience. They will have skills going beyond high school that many other students won't have honed to the degree that they have. Not just the ability to research, but the ability to share that information with others and to really take something that they're passionate about and hopefully do something about it.
20 mosaics have been installed at county bus stops. This is the artistic expression of students who have helped decorate county knee walls with mosaic designs. These walls have been constructed at slope bus stops to prevent wheelchairs from rolling onto dangerous terrain and to provide seating for waiting passengers. In a partnership with Arts on the Block, local youth designed the art and the county paid $41,000 for materials and installation.
Great thing about the project is that the kids who work on these knee walls are transit users. And I'm sure whenever they are in one of these stops with this knee wall and their art is on display, they take pride of their accomplishments.
Student artists from Rockville, Wheaton, and Richard Montgomery High Schools were present during the unveiling of one of the designs on Hungerford Drive in Rockville. A plaque stating the name of the artist will be installed at each wall. Participating students received a stipend and earned MCPS student learning hours. The Montgomery College men's and women's basketball teams celebrated Purple Pride Day last weekend when they took on longtime rival Prince George's Community College in a double-header on the Rockville campus. MCTV's Michael Brown has a report.
A good crowd came out to celebrate Purple Pride Day at MC, and they were rewarded with some outstanding basketball. In the opener, the MC women's team got off to a fast start on quick threes from Nicole Cunningham and Steph Pantos as they rolled to a 6-point first quarter lead. The second quarter was all Raptors. Cunningham dominated down low, Hillary Mensah knifed through the Owls defense, and Christine Mabry added a key three as the Raptors built a 38-20 halftime lead. MC ended the competitive portion of the game in the third quarter, never taking their foot off the gas, which is what head coach Tarla Gasquet has been preaching. The Raptors blitzed the Owls to roll to a 31-point third quarter lead on their way to a 90-36 win, which improves their record to 9-5. In the nightcap, the 12-4 Raptors took on the 10-6 Owls in a tight one. PG jumped out to a quick lead, but MC's Larry Holmes answered, and a Pat Smith dunk gave the Raptors their first lead midway through. Back and forth it went, PG with the three, MC Smith with a spectacular dunk off a dime from Holmes. Then another PG three to give them a 53-52 lead at the half. The second half got going with back-to-back dunks, and the pace never let up. MC led by 6 after this D'Angelo Vaughn three, but when Smith picked up his fourth foul with 10.5 to go, PG took advantage. MC was still able to build an 8-point lead, but they couldn't hold it. PG repeatedly attacked the middle, tied it with 3 minutes to go, and led by 5 with under a minute to play. MC didn't wilt and tied it with 17 seconds to go on another Vaughn three. But PG drew up one final play, found the open man, and Jared Warwick drained a three-pointer at the buzzer to give the Owls a heart-stopping 106-103 win to send the crowd home with a bittersweet feeling. For County Report this week from Montgomery College, I'm Michael Brown.
Coming up next on County Report this week, county officials prepare to meet with the owner of this Poolsville backyard ice rink. Plus, you'll meet our pets of the week. Don't go away. County Report this week is coming right back.
Montgomery County wants to thank everyone for their commitment to recycling. We're recycling 57% of our waste, and we know you'll work with us to reduce waste and recycle even more, 70% by 2020. To protect the environment and save valuable natural resources for the future, we need to recycle all of our paper, cans, bottles, containers, scrap metal, and more. Because if you don't get serious about recycling at work now, it's going to come back and bite us.
Hey, mister! Down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout. And this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe. So respect the bus.
Montgomery County planners from the Bicycle Master Plan and LSC Loop Trail recently held a community meeting at Johns Hopkins Montgomery County campus. Our Montgomery planning team was there for the discussion and filed this report.
Would like to attract to this area to work and to live and to do research.
Well, tonight we're sharing information about two different projects that are moving forward concurrently. The Life Sciences Center Loop Trail, that's part of the GSSC Great Seneca Science Corridor Master Plan, and also the Bicycle Master Plan, which has formulated recommendations specifically also for the Life Sciences Center in this area.
The Bicycle Master Plan and the LSC Loop are very much complementary. The Bicycle Master Plan is going to propose on-street separated bike lanes for people that are really trying to get around for transportation from point A to point B. The LSC Loop is more of a recreational facility, also can be used for transportation, but I think you'd find more pedestrians on it.
The LSC Loop is intended to be something quite a bit more than a standard shared use path, but something that provides a really attractive environment for pedestrians and casual bicycle riders. And together we hope that they will give people an opportunity to be able to get around in the Life Sciences Center without having to get into their car. That's one of the real goals of the master plan, is to provide an excellent non-auto transportation infrastructure here.
We want to attract those kind of businesses and workers. We need to provide the kind of built environment where people want to live, the kind of urban, walkable, bikeable node. And so this, I'm trying to figure out how to get people biking more and how to get mixed-use development to really work here, I think can be crucial to the economic development success of this area as well.
Residents are welcome to come to meetings such as this. We have websites where people can take a look at the plans for both projects. We have an email address where people can link and make comments and ask questions.
On January 28th, the Planning Board will review recommendations for this area. Montgomery County officials plan to meet with the owner of Mel's Rink this month to discuss the future of the backyard ice rink in Poolesville.
The fact that he has gone to the great extent of building a rink, we want to make sure that that rink is safe. He can utilize the current rink for sort of personal use, but when you involve the broader public, then there are some safety concerns that we want to be aware of. So if he wants to enhance it and to ensure that the public is invited, we think that it has to comply with county rules and regulations. Or in all the alternative, we are prepared to work with him to move it to a location that he can accomplish the vision that he wants, but also bring the public in as well.
Has he been responsive to this?
We will, once we meet, I think it's the day or tomorrow, we'll get back to him and lay out some plans about how we're going to go about doing that.
Now it's time to meet our pets of the week. Kathy Stanhope joins us from the Montgomery County Animal Services and Adoption Center with more. Kathy?
It's not the pet of the week this week, it's the puppies of the week, and have we got some adorable puppies here. Although you're only seeing 3 of them, there are actually 7 in this litter. Most of them are pure white, some have just little brown spots on them, and they are all equally adorable. Just remember the Friends show. They're all named after the characters on Friends. So give us a call at 240-773-5900 or visit all these wonderful puppies at the web at montgomerycountymd.gov/ASD.
With that, we close this edition of County Report This Week. Remember to like us on Facebook and to join us again at this time every week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. I'm Sonia Burke. Thank you for watching.